Hi everyone, welcome to PowerShell for Penetration Testers at Pentester Academy. In this video, let's continue the discussion on enumerating domains with the help of PowerShell. We are using PowerView from Power Tools for this enumeration. So let's begin with invoke NetView, which could be used to run various enumeration methodologies in a domain. So invoke NetView listed the number of hosts and machines, domain controller, and details about those machines in a host. Again, it depends on your privileges, and invoke NetView is capable of listing much more details. As always, if you look at its help, you can see that there are multiple parameters which could be used with it. For example, you can run it on particular hosts, run it with a delay, etc. So please feel free to explore this. We can also use PowerView to list machines in a domain where a domain admin is logged in. So as with the other methods or functions exported by PowerView, this one is again very useful. So as you can see that the current user does not have access to any such machine where a domain admin is logged in. But for example, let's run a process on this machine or on any other machine where domain user can query. If we run a process as a domain admin, or a domain admin has a session on the machine, then as you can see that it quickly shows that a domain admin is logged into that machine. Note that even if the process is closed now, because the credentials of the domain admin are still on this machine, it keeps showing that a domain admin is logged in here. So this is quite useful. Or we can run invoke user hunter for a particular user. The next one we will see is to use invoke share finder, which could be used to, as the name suggests, to find shares in a domain. It comes with various useful options. For example, we can exclude standard shares, then it shows only the non-standard ones. Again, explore the function. There are so many parameters, exclude print, exclude IPC, etc., which you can use. You can also run it on particular host and more. The next one we would like to have a look at is invoke file finder. Invoke file finder looks for sensitive files in the locations where the current user has access. It looks for keywords like passwords, credentials, etc. If we run this on this machine, you can see that it looks for things like credentials, password, etc. So it could come really handy in finding files containing passwords or credentials or usernames, etc. Now another very useful command is invoke find local admin access. It looks for all those machines in the domain where the current user has local admin access. So imagine that we can run invoke find local admin access to find all those machines and where the current user has a local admin access, and then use those machines with the invoke user hunter to find if a domain admin is logged in there. That is, first we find that on these 5 machines we have local admin access, and then we see if on any of those 5 machines there is a domain admin logged in, and if there is one such machine, then we can easily grab credentials or tokens of a domain admin from that machine. So let's run invoke local admin access. Okay, it looks like a typo. It's invoke find local admin access. So it is looking for it. It is taking time. So let's see the next one. Meanwhile, it executes. Invoke find vulnerable systems. It looks for all the machines in a domain which are vulnerable to the infamous MS08067. And this has been one of the most reliably exploitable services in the recent past, and it just checks for the presence of couple of things which we can always see after looking at its source code. But if you find anything vulnerable to this in a domain, and this is 2015, so I don't think there is any need to exploit it. Just confirm that if it is vulnerable, and it would be enough for you to find this thing still in a network. Having said that, up to a couple of years back, I regularly see this thing present in even of the best of my clients. So it depends on your luck or a client's mismanagement. So unfortunately, there are no machines in the domain except the local one where we have local admin access. So let's move on. We can use invoke host enum to run all enumeration on a particular computer. That takes a lot of time in running. Like if we run it on, let's say on the domain controller, so we will not let it execute completely. We will just see what it is capable of doing. So these are the details about the domain controller for our current domain. These are its active sessions. These are the shares on it. And if you leave it running, it lists. Let's leave it running and open a new PowerShell prompt where we will run the next function. Invoke enumerate local admins. Again, a very useful function which allows us to find all local admins on all machines in a domain. Let's see if there is anything new here. As you can see, this is the list of groups on our domain controller. And here it is still trying to enumerate local admins. Let's stop this. As you can see, here we are trying to do the exact thing which invoke host enum has done for us. It is listing local administrators for the domain controller. So these are the local administrators, the administrator user, and the members of this group. And how do we enumerate members of a group? We can use functions which we discussed in the previous video. So let's just stop this. Okay, so it was stuck possibly. So on the domain controller, these are the local administrators, and on our local machine, these are the local administrators. So that is all about domain enumeration and Power View. Again, Power View is considerably large and contains many more useful functions. Feel free to explore it. It would come handy during a penetration test. Hope you enjoyed this. If you are enjoying your time at Pentester Academy, please recommend us to your friends and colleagues in the information security community.